The hour is late, yet I see a flicker of light coming from the next door where the door has been left ajar. I gently push the door open and find my Shakran with heavy eyes bent over an open ledger, another stack of ledgers standing next to him. He lifts his head and notices my presence. Oh, forgive me, my lord, but I have still time to sort through these latest tax accounts. Why don't you take a break? Yes, why don't you take a break? We have just had another daughter born to us, Martab, by our wife. And, she is quick. She has just been born. So we have now 5 daughters in total. With my wife, 4 of those are daughters. My second wife, we have the daughter of Sa'am, and also our son and heir, Gad Zilla. Liege, our brother, is in 2 wars. He's decisively taking out the peasants in the uprising, but I think he has more of a challenge coming up against a dissolution war. We'll keep an eye on that. With a tired yet blissful smile, Catione presents me with a perfect little son. Who will you become, my child? And what shall I call you? You shall be called Ashmad, after my father. May you be strong and wise. You are comely. My lord, the malady is contagious. Be wary. My courtier Pawan holds me back. The diseased body of a commoner, skin marred by rashes and bumps, rests upon the table. Anyone who comes into contact with the corpse risks infection, and I was planning on outing that will take me close to Naksab, the holding of my rival Vali Imran. It could contain disease, maybe clues. Yes, of course, we will have a dignified burial. We are compassionate, but we are compassionate, so it kind of makes sense we would gain stress from this, but he is our rival after all, and no matter how passionate we are, sometimes our rivalries get the better of us. So what we will do is consult the magical dice. I draw a 6, and will give me a 3 here. You gain, we'll lose stress and gain some piety. He will have a dignified burial. I was tempted to launch it. Today my nephew, Xiaya, was taught a lesson in vassal management by Kavus. It was quite a complicated course, necessary, but perhaps a bit beyond Xiaya's grasp. I must let things take their time, Xiaya says. Only by being patient and letting my subjects work at their own pace may I rule wisely. Xiaya seems unaware that some subjects would willfully waste his time. That is true. Patience will serve you well, child, but you can be taken advantage of. Forgiveness, though, is a virtue above all others. Put trust in your subjects, they will never harm you. Well, my dear nephew, let us see. The magical dice will reveal. And it has come back and said, put trust in your subjects. They would never harm you. We gain stress of this because we know, perhaps this advice, though the surface is nice and good, we know deep down there is times that could harm you. But my nephew, become trusting. I don't know, was that the right thing to do? We can go unlock defensive negotiations. Let's see what it suggests. Yes, we can. Let's have a look at this. Okay, he is my cousin, the Emir Muhammad the Brave of Char. He is calm, cynical but brave. He has a family, after all. He's our cousin. We will negotiate their alliance. I think it makes sense. I am honoured by your requests, and I would glad to call you an ally. Marvellous news. Our liege is down here. He is losing the war. As I lean over to pick up a scripture to study, my nephew Yaha barges through the door, interrupting my tranquil solitude. Master Isma'il, you won't believe what I found out about Otguen. He pauses to catch his breath from dramatic effect. Well, then, speak. I learned of his non-believer status. Okay. As I lean over the map in my council chamber, a sudden creak turns my head towards the door. My daughter Catione appears in the hallway, toddling up to me at a surprising speed for her age. She wraps herself firmly around my leg, hugging me tight and leaning her head back to look up at me. I look at her, a hidden tear in my eye while my hand is stroking her hair in an effort to replicate the gesture. Catione, you are a good daughter. Let us have a look at our liege's efforts here. Looks like he is losing this war, though. Yeah, the numbers are very much even. Could my 900 make the difference? It well could. We wouldn't be able to take on their armies, but perhaps we can help. Or do we maybe look at investing? If my liege loses this war, all his vassals will become independent. All his vassals will become independent. The Grand Emirate of Transoxiana is destroyed, and his vassals will become independent. My brother. 15 independent vassals? Surely not. That would fracture this area. Perhaps it could work in our favour, though. We're not a warmonger. We're certainly not anything in the military matters. I have taken heed from some of my council members. Let me know, my minor councillors. Should we join the war? Or do we just sit and wait and see what happens? Maybe if the vassals do become independent, we can utilise this as take advantage of it. It's not in my nature, though. I do not know. For now, we will just keep a look at things. I do want to look at it adding in. I think we will just, perhaps you could say precautionary. We will add the much needed light horsemen. I believe we are wanting to add these in. We will now station them. We will station them in Pekin. Let us have a look and see who we can find. My wife. Yes. Catione. My second wife. You are. Yes. I think it makes sense. You will be appointed the wet nurse for, well, your children. Yeah, I'm not sure how my wife would feel about that, though. But another war has been declared on my liege. He's been attacked. Right, where is he being attacked by? Okay, it's only 1,000 troops. But he is already fighting a tough war. He is besieging down their capital by looks as they try and besiege some more land up here. I have to keep an eye on things. Maybe investing wisely in the army was possibly something we did wisely. Because it seems there's a little bit of conflict close to home at the moment. And it's probably inevitable that sooner or later we may directly get involved. Whether by choice or whether it is out of our hands, we will find out soon. Godzilla has increased his diplomacy by 1. And Katian has increased her learning by 2. Groom to rule. There is never a quiet moment. My son and heir, Godzilla, is so full of questions. I do my best to encourage his curiosity, but sometimes I cannot help but get exhausted by the constant stream of thoughts and queries. When a father and a mother love each other very much, you gain the traits curious, Godzilla. Okay, be curious, my son. Our children need an education focus, my son, Godzilla. He is leaning towards diplomacy. I feel diplomacy is something that would be a benefit to him, for sure. Perhaps learning, but we will put him in the diplomacy. We can then educate him ourselves. A daughter, Kation. Stewardship and learning are her strengths, and I think we will push her towards a learning education. I caught these two hiding in the pantry. A very irate cook shouts at me, dragging my nephew, Ilias, and Nur in tow. They stole a whole keg of wine, and Ilias just sat there as Nur drank himself into near oblivion, she says angrily. It seems as if my ward protected his partner in crime, keeping a lookout while abstaining from any drink himself. Well, son, my nephew, dear nephew, you are looking after your friends and abstain from alcohol, which is good. So very good for you from abstaining. Yeah, I agree. That's being a loyal friend. Ruxan has increased her intrigue by 3. And Afsan has increased her learning by 2. They need an education focus. Ruxan, she is intelligent, she is quick and fecunda, as well as obviously a twin. Diplomacy seems to run strong in this family. You do have an aptitude, you could say, for maybe a bit of intrigue. It goes against the focus, but yes. No intrigue. Afsan. Afsan. Yes, I think the learning would be in your future. The children of Isama'il. So he has won that siege, importantly, which has given him... Yes. He has won the war there, which was good. He has firmly re-established himself. And now he is going to take on his new enemy, I would say. We can designate a guardian to my daughter. Gee, my daughter is 6 years old already. She cannot learn a new... study a language, because we do not have a court tutor. Perhaps that's something we will look at looking at. She is being taught in the matters of intrigue. My marshal. My daughter. No one looks like we can educate you inside. We may look at my brother. My dear brother. My half-brother and my brother's spy master. Would you be able to educate my daughter? I offer you the guardianship, the ward of my daughter. Please teach her in the ways of intrigue. I will send forth this proposal. I trust in you, my brother. You are deceitful. I do trust in you. Look after my daughter. Our ward has set out. My dear brother, I would happy to educate your daughter. A noble upbringing for a noble spirit. Educate her well, brother. And there we will leave it, folks. It is the 2nd of April, 875. The children of Isama'il, ever growing and educating quite well so far. We have sent our daughter to our brother, our half-brother, and our liege and half-brother's spy master. for her education. She is en route. We can now... She is en route there. Alicia survived 2 wards. There's again another one. Looks like we are being raided, so we need to keep an eye on that. We are increasing the size of our army, and looks like we have completed that now to just over 1,000 men. We're going to build our gold up back to 200 before we're investing into probably Bukhara or Firabah to try and help us out there. I want to thank you all for your continued support in this series, and I hope you enjoy it. Please feel free to get your name suggestions down below if you want to be part of the series. Plenty of children I can happily rename. Take care of yourselves and each other. Subscribe if you're new. I am Pakira as always. Kia kaha.